In this one, I want to look at some data and do a simple comparison because the data that we're going to be looking at here, while simple, it is quite shocking. So it's going to be quite an entertaining video for you guys, hopefully quite informative too. If you enjoy it, do subscribe of course and like the video and share it and all that sort of good stuff. But we're going to jump straight into it, and where I want to start off first is going to be on Twitter. Coming from Nathan, that's of course Nate Daddy 33 is his @ and he's posted this. It says massive gains weekend after weekend. And when we're thinking about that, we're thinking about revenue and of course attendance to the cinema as well. More and more people are going and great movies are coming out, bringing in higher revenue. And that's what he then goes on to speak about. Higher profits now than before 18. Promoted to the Russell 1000. Which is actually a very big move. And then we see this. We see that Gary Gensler has zero control over the market. Please quit already. Now, the later part of that statement isn't too relevant to what I want to share here, but this is the body of it, right? And it is quite true. Massive gains weekend after weekend. More and more people coming out. We're hearing this all the time. Record-breaking film, then a couple of weeks later, a new record-breaking film. Then a couple of weeks later, a new record broken. Now, don't think that this is not lining the pockets of AMC. It certainly is going to be. Earnings in the last season were quite impressive, and I do believe that coming into the next one, we're looking at also equally impressive, if not better, earnings for AMC. I think it has definitely outperformed a lot of people's expectations, and even as an AMC shareholder, I couldn't have expected it to be this good this early into the year on a fundamental basis. Now what I want to do is compare two different cinema brands. We're looking at Cinemark, which is on the NYSE, and we're going to be looking of course at AMC down here as well, so we'll bring them a bit closer together and have a look at what we saw. Today we saw AMC fall by 5.5%, whilst we saw Cinemark rise by 4.2% almost. Clearly one of them was up quite large, one of them was down by a large amount as well. One of them kept climbing for the majority of the day and finished off insanely green, whilst one of them saw a big drop in the morning and ended up quite flat. On the past 5 days, we saw AMC fall, and when we look over to the chart for Cinemark, it was quite green. Not that impressive to be honest, but if we look at where we were 5 days ago, zoom into now, we're up by 2%. Comparatively coming over to AMC, come to where we were in the same period, to now, and we're down by about 8.5%. The past month for AMC is green however, but when we compare this to Cinemark, we are slightly outperforming it. Now these companies are quite comparable. Market cap for Cinemark is 1.88 billion. For AMC, it's 6 billion. Yes, AMC is larger. But if anything, that's one of the reasons why AMC should be running more. AMC is the larger of the two. Yet AMC oftentimes is, underperforming Cinemark, which is pretty astounding because Cinemark alone, again, it's a smaller company based on market cap. But one thing is very, very crucial in my opinion regarding these two companies. One of them has a massive background when it comes to people who hold it and people who are extremely and insanely convicted in it. And one of them simply does not. Yes, I'm sure it has the usual investors, hedge funds and the like, maybe some in retail, but really, it's nothing compared to AMC's, fan base I think is fair to call it. Now, in the past 5 years, we are looking at Cinemark stock decreasing over time, as the industry, quote-unquote, died off. Now, coming back to where we are now, it is coming back as we know as an industry as a whole, but you see what I mean. We know that in the meantime, AMC has had that big run up, and people have continued to hold it. So why is AMC now on a comparative level to Cinemark price-wise? If both of these companies are the same fundamentally, they have the same business at heart essentially, and again AMC is the bigger of the two. Yes, the market cap on AMC is substantially higher, so I need to point that out. The share structuring is different, so to say that AMC is at 12.78 and Cinemark is at 15, Cinemark is necessarily a higher company, no, that's not true, because the market cap is smaller and the share structure is evidently different. So does it mean that Cinemark is ahead of AMC? No, it doesn't necessarily. But I find it interesting and how we can draw some comparisons. Maybe it's not a complete apples to apples comparison, but it's not too far off. Why does AMC fall when Cinemark rises? Why is Cinemark doing well in the past 5 days and AMC is doing abysmally? And obviously in the past month or so, you would expect that when we're seeing AMC decline and Cinemark at least remain flat, like it has been in the past 6 months, it has been a really stable investment. Sure, it is down a little bit, but really, looking at what we're facing in the market now, being down 6% in 6 months really isn't bad going for Cinemark. Now, I understand what everybody's going to say. AMC had that big run up to 72. It was bound to fall. And of course, over time that is likely. But how can it fall when the same people are holding it? That's the one area that they forget to fact check. So when I'm hearing all of this about AMC, I just want to take a moment to actually highlight how the other companies in the same space are doing. And then remind you guys that this company, AMC, is ahead in market cap. And all of the good news that we can point to companies like Cinemark and others, a lot of that is also equally, if not more, applicable for AMC. It's just spun in a way which makes it look to be not true for AMC. So please bear that in mind when you're thinking about this stock, when you're thinking about AMC, and when you're drawing comparisons between the wider market and the two. This industry was on the brink of death, as we know, as people were not able to even attend the movies even if they wanted to because of the pandemic, but post-pandemic it's coming back strong. And like I said at the beginning of the video, every single weekend it seems to be, a new movie comes out, it beats estimations, more and more people come out, and then the next weekend another one comes out, even better. Movies which we thought were going to do terribly didn't do too badly at all. Some movies did absolutely amazing. Some broke all-time records for attendance figures. So when anybody's trying to tell you movies are dead, just remember two things. The first of which is that is simply not true, and the figures back that up. The second of which is, why do they only try to spin that tale with AMC, whilst they will try and tell you that other companies in the same industry are thriving? And that's what really gets me kind of mind blown. Anyway, that's all that I wanted to share with you guys for this one. I hope you did understand what I was trying to point out. I hope you did enjoy the video. Of course, if you did, make sure to smash that like button and subscribe. I want to hear all that you guys have to say regarding this issue. Now, like I said, it wasn't exactly a apples to apples comparison, but I hope it was clear enough what I'm trying to point out. The similarities and the differences, how they are the same yet so different when it comes to pricing and the way that it generally moves. But that is about it for this one, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. Again, do smash that like and subscribe, but I will see you in our next episode, which will be out in a bit.